objective truth.
Yeah.
So when it's
I
said
saw
that
it.
there's
I
not
saw
a
your
debate
video
space,
earlier.
One second.
Yeah, that was
One second, please. One second, please. How old are you, Chris?
36.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just need not everybody talking at the same time, and I knew it
just
was going to
want to
happen. So
I saw your video earlier of you trying to explain to somebody antitheism. It's an ism.
oh yeah,
They don't-
ism.
it's not group people. There's not group people. It's not like
Yeah, that was earlier. Yeah. Chris, okay, what's up?
No, that was a good faith question. That
Okay.
was not a snarky question. I
No, I just didn't
genuinely-
understand.
I'm new to this space. I'm a book talk girly, and I am like 4 days into this space. So these are like debates as far as I know. So I'm like, what does that mean? But please share your meaning with me so that I can understand in case I come across it again.
So when you look at debate spaces, a lot of times they're in a space where they're talking about human rights, and which isn't something that should ever be debated over anyway. But there's also a lot of filibro stuff, and there's like the technicalities of like all the fallacies and all that kind of stuff. And I don't do that stuff. Like I literally just want to have conversations with people about these topics. That's really all it is. Bye, Sherry. Yeah, so when you see like discussion versus debate, it's just we're not debating like human rights in most of these cases. And like Geeky said, like everything in here is objectively true.
Yeah,
so
I agree with all of your prompts. Like,
thanks.
I the only one that maybe I could in on is number 2, but I still don't think I could really make an argument. I essentially agree with you. I'm on the same side, but yeah, no, I think people are using that word perhaps then interchangeably, because I have seen a lot of political debates, like, and none of them are using like the fallacies, which I know what you're talking about, but I think people are just using it as in, if you are going back and forth, maybe disagreeing with each other, to them that is a debate, but I think you're like more formal meaning of it. And yeah, I've seen nobody debating properly.
I think people use debate and argue interchangeably. So
yeah, I think most of these are just forums to argue, because you're right, there's no winning. Even if there is maybe a right side and a wrong side, or valid points on either side, there's no winning. Nobody's interested in coming to the other side. Everybody's just in it for an argument, and like, if that's what you want to do, then it can be fun sometimes, but it's definitely, you shouldn't expect it to be productive, because it really is not productive. And I agree with the human rights.
And that's why I want to have like conversations with people, because then it can be a little bit more productive, because you don't have like the constant over talking and interrupting and all that kind of stuff. Although today I've had my share of that, and it is
it's unavoidable.
It's been a lot. But like it's because a lot of this doesn't necessarily come from like a statistical perspective. It's observation, or like, especially when I look at misogyny in sports, right? Like, I'm not going to go based off of all statistics, but I am going to look into like rules, regulations, equipment standards, like how much access they have to promotional and marketing and that kind of stuff too, right? So and I'm going to use how many wins and losses people have. So, but yeah, the second one is more of, me just trying to educate people too on it. So, a lot of people come up and argue it, but for the most part, like people like yourself, where you're just like, I just don't understand how they would be. A lot of times I educate people on it, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Well, no, I understand how they would be, but I feel like language is not just a definition, it is also an intention in how you mean it. And I think that it depends entirely on the context in which you're using those terms and what you're using those terms to describe. I mean, smooth brained and dirt, absolutely like ableist.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I maybe argue stupid is a rude thing to say also. Lazy, I don't agree with that word. Sometimes
Okay.
things can be lazy, like I'm a nurse and your bowels can be lazy, right? Like, so it depends on like the way
Sure.
you use that
Yeah.
word.
I mean,
So
like you'd
that's
be
our
looking at like medically then at that point, right?
even
But when
psychologically.
right, so when I'm talking like lazy, I'm talking about society's expectation, especially in our capitalistic world, for us to be
Mhm.
productive 24/7.
Oh
And
yeah.
so when you're
Yep.
not productive 24/7, you're seen as lazy.
Agreed. Yep.
That word it's rooted in classism, racism, and ableism because
100%.
um, people of color who were not wanting to participate in slavery were seen as lazy because they weren't doing the work that they were being told they needed to do, or they were resisting exploitation towards it, right? So that word has been used in that respect as well too, but a lot of it has to do with like productivity, and that's where a lot of it came from, and it's been used typically towards people who with disabilities who, not that they wouldn't do anything, it's that they couldn't. And it's kind of it's morphed into us using it colloquially as not wanting to do something instead of my body just needs rest, right? So,
No, I completely agree with you, and you're pretty much saying the same thing that that I was saying is that
yeah.
it is it's not the word, it's the use of the word and the intention of the word, right? When you're talking about lazy in that respect, absolutely 100%. But like I an example for myself is I worked nights. I prefer working nights
Hmm.
as a nurse. So I am a night person. I'm pretty much nocturnal, but like the older generation, like I have family members that would be like, "You're still sleeping at 12? Oh, you're so lazy." And it's
Yep.
like they don't realize that one, that's hurtful. It makes it so that I don't want to ever answer the phone because I lie about things or don't tell the truth because I don't want them to think that I'm lazy. Meanwhile, I'm
Yes.
sleeping only 6 hours a day. I'm just sleeping a different six
Yep.
hours a day, but that's viewed as lazy. So I agree that that word can be actually really harmful. It's such a maybe simple word, but it actually can be harmful to
It's
people.
Yeah, like, so I have ADHD and I have major executive functioning
Yeah.
executive functioning issues.
Yep.
And I get task paralysis quite often. So a
Yep.
lot of times it'll look like I'm not doing anything if I'm just sitting and watching TV, but a lot of times it's because my body is saying you can't do anything else. Because if I
Yep.
try to do anything else, even thinking of it will cause me anxiety because it's like hot stove, hot stove, hot stove, right? So
Hmm.
it's yeah,
Yeah. So the
that's
word
like
lazy for you is very harmful.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I
sure.
get it.
Even people with narcolepsy as well too, that's another thing. They're seen as lazy because they're not awake as often ever as everybody else, or like people with depression as well, right? Like there was a period for 12 days I didn't leave the couch or the bed aside from like eating and peeing and pooping, like doing all that stuff. So
Mhm.
um it's
I love
but
that you
like
cut yourself midway through that and went,
I was like, why am I saying pooping on here?
And
Everybody
everybody
poops,
does it.
whatever.
no, lazy
Okay.
bowels. No, I'm kidding.
Everybody poops. Um, so but people would look at me and they'd be like, "You're being so fucking lazy," and I'm just like, "No, my body is telling me I cannot do anything right now." So
Mm.
it's really, you know, like a lot of it has to do with like mental health conditions and stuff like that, obviously. But even people with physical disabilities, if they can't do something that somebody else is doing, they're seen as like lazy because they
Absolutely.
can't do it, right? So yeah.
It's a word that's
um
thrown around way too freely, and it is
yes.
harmful, but it is a word that exists to describe some things that, I mean, can be lazy. There are sometimes that, like, I mean, I'll give you an example. A lot of the Trump supporters don't like to look up facts. They like to repeat things that they've heard, and they don't like to fact check. And sometimes it is they don't understand how. They're older generation a lot of the
Yeah.
times, and they don't understand technology, and it's very like overwhelming to them, all of the information. But it's also rooted in laziness that they don't want to learn. And some of them do know how, and they're just too lazy to go. And I don't know of a better term to use. And I can't imagine saying you need to stop being so lazy and go look up your own information, and then have somebody say that's an ableist term. So again,
I have a
it's
suggestion for you.
absolutely.
They're being willfully ignorant. If they're
Yeah,
unwilling to go and look up this information themselves, they just don't want to learn. So they're being willfully ignorant. They're ignoring it willfully. So yeah.
absolutely.
I knew someone who liked to say that there is no point in arguing with someone dedicated to their ignorance.
Yeah.
If you are
I mean,
dedicated to staying in the dark, you are not worth speaking to. And honestly, kind of the same. I feel the very same way about a lot of things. But then the other night, oh gosh, whose panel was it on? I want to say, was it Ash's panel, Charity? Where
Probably.
I actually had those like calm, easy discussions with those two guys and actually got
Yeah.
through to them.
Yeah.
Shit was amazing.
Yeah.
every once
Oh
in a
my
while,
god, it felt so good.
like very every once in a while.
Yeah. Just to kind of touch on the last word there. So like when you're using, like we use it very freely within society, like colloquially, right?
Which
And we
word?
use
Sorry?
it to mock somebody's
Lazy.
intelligence. And so the roots of that word, like it was used to mock, or just like to just, it's still mocking, but describing people with intellectual disabilities. So even when you're using that word and like
Which word are you
if you're
speaking about?
so stupid, the
Oh,
last one.
right.
Yeah. So like don't get me wrong, there's words here that I still am trying to get out of, like not the first one or smooth brain, because I just don't use those ones at all.
No.
But I put those on there because they are popular on this app, and it
The
grosses me out
younger.
that so many
Yeah.
people use it.
By the
So
way, you have ruined my evening by then telling me the roots of wild. Come on, Charity.
I'm sorry.
Did I say the word stupid, or did? Because when you started saying that, it almost sounded like one of us might have said it, and now I'm like,
No,
did I say
because
that?
you said that you can kind of understand stupid,
Oh,
but
okay, so
then
you're
like
just
lazy was the one. But
okay,
yeah.
okay. I
So
thought
yeah, I was just
maybe
kind of I just wanted to explain stupid a little bit,
Gotcha.
even for people in the
Okay.
chat. But yeah, it's rooted in ableism there because it was used towards people with disabilities, like intellectual disabilities, right? So when you are using it towards somebody, you're always trying to do it to mock their intelligence, which again just reflects back on people with disabilities. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? Like when I first said stupid, I thought it's something we say all the time. But the more I sit here and the more I think of it, I don't think like with lazy, I can justify saying like using that word to describe something and it being accurate. But I don't think I can say the same thing about stupid. I think you're right. I think there is no circumstance in which I can justify that stupid should be the word that is used. I
Yeah.
mean, it's always mean no matter how you're using it. And if you're not using it in a mean way, there's another word that could be used instead of that. So there's
Yeah,
really
silly,
right.
foolish,
Yeah,
ridiculous,
doesn't
like
mean we won't forget to use it, but
absurd.
should we use it? I agree with
Well,
you.
I mean,
I
even
agree.
absurd is kind of weird, but
Is buffoonery bad?
Ridiculous.
buffoonery?
Buffoonery?
Do you want me to look it up?
I mean,
Yes.
I think it's fine.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's maybe just the same thing, isn't it? Isn't it just a synonym of
Yeah.
Stupid. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, buffooneries. I don't have buffoon or buffoonery under the bad words.
I
Geeky.
use ridiculous a lot. You are ridiculous. Is
Yeah.
my word.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous is I used to I the one word that I have omitted from my lexicon in my in my trek to be like remove ableist language from my vocabulary is crazy. That's the one word that I have successfully, I don't say it, I replaced it, but I replaced it with the word wild until it was brought to my attention, I think a couple months ago, that has roots in racism. And I'm like, now I have to figure out a different word to replace for that. And so now I'm going to ridiculous or asinine. Asinine is a really good word.
Nine is a word I use a lot.
I
too,
love it.
I don't know. I think this comes back to like where I was kind of going to begin with it depends on how you're using the word for me. Now, if we're talking morally and technically should you? No. But if we're I mean, the world's not being perfect as it is, would I say that a policy is, crazy or crazy town? Perhaps. Would I refer to a human being as crazy or crazy town? No, then it is arguably absolutely
Right.
ableist. But I don't know that I would ever be the kind of person that would ever be able to take all words out and be that
Yeah.
politically correct. But I
For
think
sure.
that I'm definitely the kind of person that can be mindful of which way I'm using them towards and make an effort. I will
For
tell you
sure.
though,
And
as a 90s baby, the R word is a
I
very
know.
different. I'm telling you, I still catch myself, and I have teenagers. I still catch myself, and I'm like, I
Chris, I got
cannot,
10 years on you,
not
so
cool.
I had all the 80s too that I was doing that.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
kid.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, it's
not even quite.
it's so yeah, like I mean,
Hard.
by bringing this to people's attention, that's all I'm really asking is like I'm not asking for perfection overnight. I'm not asking for instantaneous results because I don't even have the instantaneous results. When I'm driving in traffic and I run into like the really bad drivers,
Yeah.
idiot comes out of my like
Yeah.
and
You
stupid comes
effing
out of my mouth.
stupid. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So those come out
Absolutely.
and I'm just like, man, I gotta stop that. Like,
My biggest
and
fear
I check
is
myself though.
my biggest fear is arguing with somebody like a Trump supporter that you're going around and around. Those are the ones I always say Trump supporter because those are the ones that get me the most like
I get it.
heated. I'm pretty like level, but those are the ones, and they a lot of the times they're really disrespectful, and I'm an energy matcher, so that's when it usually gets out of hand. And one of my biggest fears is just getting so angry that like slips out on a live, and I would be like absolutely mortified, and like that would be like lights out because like I'm a nurse, right? Like if somebody clipped that. Like, so I really, like, I swear I have like nightmares. It's not something that comes out very often, but it's always like a fear, like, like those things that are ingrained in, I was saying for 20 years. 30,
I totally get it. I
25
totally get it.
years.
And like I said, like my goal with that topic, and I've been running it for a while. I've actually been running it since July of last year. But my goal with the topic is just to educate people and show them different words that can be used that wouldn't be harmful to the community. Because like as a disabled person myself, like I've got my mental disabilities, and I've also got some physical disabilities. Obviously, I'm even like visually impaired too, right? So, I'm really trying to draw awareness to the disabled community because oddly enough, it's the largest of all the marginalized communities, but it's the one that everybody talks about the least. And it gets forgotten about and pushed to the wayside, even though there's people from every other marginalized community within this group. So,
It's not
and it's
easily
also,
defined. I think
it's,
people don't
sorry?
understand. I think
Yeah.
people don't understand what makes you, the perimeters around being disabled are a
Yeah.
lot broader than people realize, I think. So
Well,
it's kind of a
yeah. It's
gray.
essentially, if you need something extra to do something that a person without that disability doesn't need, you have a disability. Essentially, I need glasses to be able to see up close because I need reading glasses, right? I used to need glasses to see far away until I had my LASIK surgery. So, but it's the one community that I'll get to in a second. It's the one community that everybody has the risk of joining, whether it's by age, accident, or ailment. Like,
Yes, but I mean, in all fairness, you would never call yourself disabled because you need reading glasses, though.
but it
Right.
is a disability. It is
Yeah,
visual
I mean,
impairment.
so
Being
then I guess this is language and meaning of language then topic, because it may be a visual impairment. You could argue it's a visual disability, but you still
Yeah.
would not say that you are disabled or part of the disabled community because
But
you
you
need glasses.
but you would be, because
So you think it would be
there's
acceptable for people just that need glasses to say I'm part of the disabled community?
but yes, you are. I have ADHD. I'm
Then
part of the disabled community because of that.
I think
that means that they're no longer marginalized. Then that would be the majority of us. Then, if that
No, that's not what
qualifies you
marginalized.
for-
Marginalized doesn't mean small.
it means. I mean, okay, but you
It
wouldn't
means
be
pushed
on
to
the
the side.
outskirts of society, or you wouldn't be marginalized
Oh,
if you
But-
have glasses,
quick
right?
thing
But
though.
you are, because you're still seen as
Wait,
less
you are.
than.
Okay, so like, let's say, for example, you go
Geeky
to
and
the
then
movie theater.
cyber.
Yeah, let's say.
'Cause-
Also, I have updates on the war front.
Yeah, I know.
Um, So let's say you go to the movie theater. You're gonna go see a 3D movie. You can't, because the glasses don't sit on top of your glasses. So that's an immediate thing that's no one really looks at or talks about. Airbags have the potential of shattering your glasses into your eyes, and that's not something that most people look at. The fact of the matter is that vision is a different insurance, and that isn't covered by most insurance policies, and that glasses are prohibitively expensive, and Luxottica just continues to own everything under the sun related to glasses. So there is a lot that comes down to it. Plus, if you get LASIK, there's not a lot of research into the long-term ramifications of LASIK. You end up having to go back and get another retouch surgery like 10, 15 years later. So there's a lot of things with glasses that would actually very much qualify you as disabled. Not to mention fucking astigmatism, and then the research into how your eyes affect the way migraines happen and all sorts of different things. My goodness, there's a lot to it. Plus, eyeballs are a foreign entity in your body. If your immune system, if your brain wasn't there, like the eyeballs are like, hey, we're not actually here. And your brain goes, yeah, totally. And then as soon as you do, your eyeballs are like, well, shit, now I'm going to be attacked, because your white blood cells are like, this is a foreign body. Fucking get them. It's really weird, and I don't like it.
Can I just respond to that, or
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Respond.
and then cyber. Geeky uses they them pronouns, just so you know, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Geeky below you uses they them pronouns.
What did I say? Did I say a pronoun? Maybe
You said
I did.
she. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's all good.
And if I ever
not
forget again,
perfection.
just yell at me.
Yeah, no worries. You
never
didn't
do that
know,
on
so I was just
purpose.
letting you know.
Okay.
It's about effort, not
You're good.
perfection in my book.
Yeah, I would never ever do it on purpose. Okay, so I am going to disagree on the glasses. If you are nearsighted and farsighted in your glasses, Or contacts correct your vision to typical functioning. Most people and most institutions do not consider that a disability. Under the Americans, and I think you guys are Canadian.
I'm the only Canadian.
I'm
I'm not.
dual citizenship, so and I was raised in Canada, so I guess I'm technically both. But under the Americans with Disability Act, a disability is a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. Important nuance: courts generally consider how a condition affects you with corrective measures. So with glasses, if your vision is fully corrected or even partially corrected, depending on the problem, it does not substantially limit you. It does not qualify as a disability. Now, with that being said, there are absolutely some conditions that are disability, but when it comes to nearsighted, farsighted, regular vision problems that are corrected with lenses and contact lenses, it is not in a technical governmental term considered a disability. But how you choose to define yourself is how you choose to define yourself at the end of the day. And if somebody considered themselves to have a disability and be a part of the disabled community because of their vision, I would never sit there and be like, no, you're not. Like, you are what you say you are, as far as I'm concerned. But if we are talking about semantics, we are like not debating, discussing like technicalities here. I need glasses. I would not consider myself disabled. I know I'm taking forever, but let me land my plane. One last point that I want, maybe is a big thing that we need to like think about, is when people use language like, I'm disabled. Why are you disabled? Well, I need glasses. I have an astigmatism. That invites people, and I guess maybe some people don't care, but that invites people from other Trump supporting communities and people that of that area, you know what I'm talking about, to say, wow, you guys are just anything's do you know what I mean, a disability. And it kind of, I think sometimes maybe is possibly could discredit if somebody was saying I have a disability because I need reading glasses. I don't know what you that's not a clear statement. I'm just saying, what do you guys think about that? Okay, now
I'll let Geeky. I'll let Geeky. They can go ahead and respond because this is their talking point.
Can I jump in really quickly before you do, Geeko?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You're going by one definition on what a disability would be, which would be the legal definition of what a disability would be. And that would be like, just because that's what the ADA says, or, you know, the Canadian disabilities, like, it doesn't mean that person is not disabled. Because even if you look at the first definition of disability, it's a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. And considering sight would be one of your senses, if it limits, then you would be disabled.
But by that argument, then you could argue that everybody or the majority of the population is disabled in some way. Because most of us above the age of 30, maybe 40, have something that is impairing their life, that is making their life more difficult, that they might need something corrective.
Correct.
So by that definition, then everybody is,
I love this.
and again, I did say, if you want to define yourself that way, like, I'm not here to say, no, you're not. So I am talking as a nurse from a technical standpoint, which is what I said. But from a non-technical standpoint, you're right. There's other definitions and other ways to define things. I agree.
Yeah. And and then I want to touch on the disability flag afterwards.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I made sure to really touch on was that these are the way that people with glasses are marginalized. Those few things. These are the marginalizations which normalize that. But I really think if we were able to look at things like needing corrective lenses, things like, ADHD medication, things like, the need to sit down because, maybe you have a lower back issue or something, or you get tired or whatever it may be, we would start to see that disabilities are far more common than we like to pretend that they are. Because of the fact that, one, we just went through a worldwide mass disabling event. We just saw, we're seeing cuts to the ACA. We're seeing all sorts of things that are going to affect, very explicitly, the disabled community. And what most people don't realize is all of us live with some kind of disability. So no one is exempt from being touched by the ways that they have turned things against us. I think that that's something that's very important that we need to touch on, is that a lot of us are disabled. And we need to start talking about it because it's connecting us.
Most, like, the whole thing is, like, in society, because disabled people were always so shunned, and it was always seen as the extreme parts of disabilities that were, I mean, it was part of eugenics, right? So if there was anybody with disabilities, then they want that bred out, right? Like they would execute people with disabilities. Like people with disabilities were the first people in the camps, along with LGBTQ people in Nazi Germany, right? So it's been so stigmatized to have disabilities, and people don't recognize that there are things that, like, if you can't do things in the typical way without some kind of support or tool or like even medication or device or anything like that, then yeah, you would have a disability compared to somebody who can do that. Just give me 1 second, Chris. So I wanted to touch on, like, the disability flag, which is for Disability Pride Month in July. Okay. There's 5 different colors on that flag. And so red is physical disabilities. Gold is neurodiversity. White is invisible disabilities and disabilities that haven't been diagnosed yet. Blue is emotional and psychiatric disabilities, including mental illness, anxiety, and depression. And green is for sensory disabilities, including deafness, blindness, lack of smell, lack of taste, audio processing disorder, and other sensory disabilities. So, like, having some kind of, again, needing a tool like glasses or contacts to be able to see something, it leaves you at a disadvantage. Therefore, you have a disability compared to somebody who doesn't require that.
And something that I would just like to tack on just real quick, because it kind of caveats both of these real quick. So I served in the Marine Corps. I have service-connected disabilities as a result of it. And I just want to ask you just a few quick, just yes or no questions about some things. Would you say that, let's say somebody either
or host?
You.
Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say somebody, because you're what you're saying is that in like the cases of glasses.
Yeah, I'm gonna clarify and better articulate in a minute, because I think that was really messy. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll let you articulate it now.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead and articulate. I don't want to straw man you, and I don't want
I don't. Go ahead. And you don't want to?
Yeah, I just don't want to straw. I'm a Phil bro type person, so I don't want to be like in debate mode with you. So I'll give you a chance to correct your
He doesn't want to misrepresent your argument.
Yeah.
I don't
position.
mind if you debate, as long as you're nice to me. But I am a little interrupty and need a little bit of reminding once in a while, perhaps. So, like, be patient with me. Host's face is kind of giving me the cues when I'm like, and she's like busting to say something. So I'm trying to watch her, but just let me know.
It's my ADHD. That's why. But also, I have a pen and paper, so I write down what I need to say.
Yeah, me too. I have to do the same thing. I have a notebook right here because, like, yeah, I will forget for sure. So what I was trying to articulate, which was really poorly, is disillusion of meaning. Okay. So disability, you know, especially under the laws like Americans with Disability Act, refers to like impairments that substantially limit major life activities. It's extremely common for people to have astigmatism and need reading glasses, and it's fully correctable for most people. When that kind of thing gets labeled a
Well, quick
disability,
question, just a quick question right there. So I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to clarify. When you say it's fully correctable, are you saying that glasses or contacts themselves correct it, or are you talking about it's fully correctable through, say, like LASIX?
I think both. I mean, not everybody has access to LASIK,
Wait.
though. I mean, it's not free, but it is.
But-
It
Sorry, astigmatism is not corrected by glasses or contacts, though. Because you said astigmatism.
Yeah, you can wear glass. Okay, maybe corrected is not the right word. Your vision is corrected when you look through those glasses, though, right?
Right, but that's
It's
not
kind of what I mean.
astigmatism.
Well, glasses help you see astigmat. You have
No,
like
astigmatism
bifocals.
literally means that your eye is in the shape of a football, not
Right,
a
but
baseball.
right, but glasses can help you see better when you have astigmatism. You have bifocals, right? Like there are corrective measures for.
Wait, but nothing's gonna fix your your astigmatism. That's what I'm saying.
Not fix it, but when you wear your glasses, you're able to see properly, right?
No, because here's the thing: you could have an astigmatism and still have perfect vision. It's literally just the shape of your eye. It's not how you see.
But sometimes an astigmatism is, right? Like when you are driving at night.
That's separate from your vision loss, though. That's separate. They're two completely different things. They're not connected.
That is separate from vision loss, but it is something that affects you. Like, say, when you're driving at night and the lights are blaring in your face and blinding you because, you know, how you get that light. You know what I mean, right? And like when
haloing.
you wear your driving glasses, then that drastically reduces it so that you're able to see.
It's haloing.
Right.
It's a halo.
So it's a halo. Thank you for correcting me.
It's fine. I had because of my LASIK that I had, I still had haloing at night either way, and I didn't have astigmatism at that point.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's not the point, though. I mean, my point is that it is something that can be made better or corrected with glasses. That's just one example. We can take that out if you would like. But my point is that just needing regular glasses.
Okay, so I think this is enough for me to be able to move on with my.
Wait, it's not though, because that is not in my point at all. My point, I'm trying to define this for you. I know it might be a little long-winded, but I'm trying to define the meaning of. Just bear with me, okay? It's an extremely common and fully correctable thing, needing reading glasses, and I'm not going to get into the conditions that are correctable glasses. You get the point. The point is that consider the fact that some people are blind and some people. How do you think that it would feel to somebody that was completely blind and is living their life with the experience of being completely blind, to have somebody that says that they need reading glasses? They have a disability. Like, how might that feel?
Yeah, I can answer that. Let me ask you some questions real quick though, because these questions will answer your question.
But that smirk is like you really don't agree with me, and you're telling me that
we don't, because
making me lose my train of thought here.
Well, because somebody who needs so there's a vast difference between the disabilities of being blind and needing glasses. These are these are different disabilities. They're disabilities nonetheless. Now, if somebody who needs glasses, because we'll hear the colloquial term, because of being nearsighted, that they're blind, right? But we'll hear that. But if they're like meaning it like I'm actually blind, well, then they'd be just being disingenuous, right? They're not actually blind, but it's just different disabilities, right?
Right.
And so I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody acknowledging a disability that they have, for somebody who needs glasses to say they're disabled, right? As somebody who is near death after serving in the military, when people and I also have tinnitus as well, but when I hear somebody, complaining about having like other neurological things going on, and it's something that like tinnitus is extremely common. And so when I hear people complaining about like tinnitus, I don't ever stop and think, well, crap, I'm near death.
Okay.
How dare they do that? I don't ever do that. I think that's just kind of ridiculous.
I'm seeing the comments, and it's getting frustrating because I feel like, and absolutely no like shade to you, Charity, but your face while I'm talking and you communicating to me that you don't agree with me and that my point is not intelligent, because that's how you're making me feel, is like,
I never said that.
No, but your face is kind of that smirk that you get when you clearly don't agree is really distracting. I'm just telling you how I feel. It's not, I'm not personally attacking you, but it's super distracting, and it made me really stumble over what I was trying to say. And I don't feel like I'm representing the point that I'm trying to make very well. And I know that because I can see the comments, and somebody just said, so if I have a cane, are you saying that it's going to upset somebody in a wheelchair? And obviously that's not what I meant, but I can understand that that's kind of what it sounds like I'm saying.
Well,
And
let me ask you some,
which is my own fault, because I apparently am not great at not being long-winded, as the huffing, tells me. But succinctly, what I'm trying to say is that people that rely on disability accommodations for mobility, chronic illness, neurological differences, or severe vision loss may feel that equating reading glasses with their experience minimalizes real barriers that they have to deal with. Now, if they don't, that's fine. I'm not saying that I believe that definitively. I'm just saying that I question how saying I'm disabled because I need reading glasses might feel to somebody with chronic illness or blindness that has real barrier issues to life. And I'm sorry, reading glasses are not real barrier issues to mobility and to life, right?
But these are just cases though where unfortunately we run into a case where
Can you bring the
this
comments back so I know if people are saying bad stuff, because I want to be able to defend myself.
I mean,
Well,
you're getting
I'm
distracted
sorry,
by
Cyber.
them. I moved my face off the screen
I'm
so you
not
wouldn't
getting
get distracted
the
by that
comments.
too.
I was
Like,
getting
I'm trying to
distracted by
hang
you.
on, Chris. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to accommodate you here so that you can participate in this without feeling any particular way and assuming that I'm thinking certain things about you when
Okay,
I'm not.
So it sounds to me like you're communicating that what I said really bothered you.
Chris,
Hold on a minute. Sorry, I wanna address this. I didn't say that the comments were tripping me up. I said that the faces that you were making while I was talking, the smirking, the condescending smirk, which I'm sure you're not doing on purpose, was tripping me up, because I can see how you're reacting to what I'm saying.
Respectfully, you already said that. So I just came up here. I want to say one thing. I am a wheelchair user. I'm disabled. I have stage 4 cancer, and it does not bother me or my community at all that people who wear glasses say that they are disabled, because it is true. They are disabled.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that it would. I'm saying that it's a possibility. Thank you for
Chris,
sharing.
I have a question.
You just said that it would upset people.
Chris,
No,
I have a question.
I did not. I said that there was a possibility that some people might feel that way, but I don't know. I can't speak for people.
Chris, I have a question.
Okay.
Are you part of the disabled community?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that. Maybe by your standards, perhaps yes. How you feel about it, perhaps yes.
Well,
I mean, I need glasses, yes. I mean, I have a really bad back. I mean, so I have a lot of back pain.
I don't need like all your
But
diagnostics. I just asked if you were part of the
I feel
disabled
like
community.
this is
Because if
really
you don't
hostile now because you don't want a debate space, but I feel like you're being really hostile with me.
I'm trying to ask you a question. I'm not being hostile.
Yeah, but it's coming
I'm being
at me.
direct. There's a difference.
It feels like you're very frustrated with me, and I'm trying to be really like open with you, but I feel like you're getting really frustrated. You're huffing at me. You're talking in a way that is suggesting that you're upset. I've got other panelists coming at me. Like, if you want to have a discussion, I'm all for it. But like, I feel like
It
you're
is
not happy with me
frustrating,
right now.
Chris. It is frustrating because all you've been doing up here is repeating yourself over and over again.
Okay,
Charity has
maybe perhaps I need to go.
comment. Can you stop?
Once, are you
Charity has
seriously?
accommodated you.
You're just gonna leave?
No, I mean, I haven't left yet, but
Okay,
like,
so
I
Chris,
also
can
don't
I
want to
just?
be attacked.
Nobody's attacking
Do
you.
you hear the way that you are speaking, the tone? in
Yes,
which
because
you're
I'm
speaking to
fucking
me?
frustrated with you right now, Chris. Because you're claiming things that aren't happening. You are the one person on the panel who disagrees with what the rest of us are saying. We're going to have opposing views from you. So if you feel like it's an attack because we're saying something different than what you think, that's not on us. That's
It's
on
not
you.
what you're saying, Charity. It is how you are saying it, which I have clearly explained to you. I am totally okay with being disagreed with, but you are talking to me in a tone that suggests that you're really upset and you're being really snarky with me.
At first, it was her looks, and now it's her tone.
It's her looks. When
It's
did I-
always something.
Yeah, my
It's-
face. You were
okay,
talking about my
okay. You
face.
guys
I
are,
have an
like,
expressive
gaslighting me.
face.
You guys
So-
are totally gaslighting me. So she wasn't pulling her face and smirking at me when I was making my
No, I
point?
totally was. I totally was.
Exactly.
And that's
So
my
don't
prerogative.
gaslight
That's how
me.
I react to things. Chris, can you just listen to me for a second, please? Because my tone didn't change until you started talking about me and my smirking and what was bothering you.
So
I didn't stop. I'm still speaking.
Yep.
My tone did not change until you made it personal towards me. Before that, I was having a fine conversation with you until you went at me. So you're talking about you feeling attacked. You came at me first.
In all fairness, can you guys be genuine here? I did not come at you. I nicely said to you that the way that you were reacting to my points was communicating that you didn't agree with me. That's what I originally said.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
don't agree
say-
with you.
Yeah, Chris, I think we're going to agree to
And
disagree.
You're allowed to not agree with me. That's perfectly fine. But I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything you're saying, but I'm not acting in a way that's making you feel uncomfortable and attacked.
So
I
one
get
second.
that you're frustrated, but don't get upset with me when I tell you that the way you're smirking at me when I'm talking is telling me you don't agree, and it's distracting
And then
me. So I
don't
wanted to
tell-
And don't look at the screen.
Yeah, then don't be telling people that the way they're reacting to what you're saying, to what comments are saying, then
didn't-
don't do that. Like, for example,
I
me.
didn't make a comment. I
You
was
did.
explaining
You
my
literally
point of view.
did. That's
No, I
why
was
that's
explaining
why
my-
Charity accommodated you.
That's why I turned off the
Charity
comments. Because
turned
the
off the
comments were
comments.
distracting you.
No, I said your face and your reaction to me was
No,
distracting.
you
not
said the comments first.
No, I said somebody in the comment is not understanding what I'm saying because I'm not able to get my point out.
And you said they
the
were
way I
causing you to
feel like
lose
I
your
mean it,
your
because
train of
I'm-
thought.
No, her reaction was causing me to lose my train of
Yeah.
thought.
Do you know what I do? So I'm something that I
Don't
do
look at the
because
screen.
because if I read the comments,
Right.
if I read comments, I will get lost, right? I'll get lost. So what I do, I don't even look at the screen, right? I put the phone up to
Like,
my
okay,
ear,
Okay.
and I don't even look at the screen.
I want to address something, and Chris, I want to do this without you like interjecting on this, okay, please? Because you do that. So if you can just thank you. Okay? aside from you talking about my facial expressions, which sometimes, yes, I can't control them. And sometimes it's like I'm smiling because something sparked in there and I'm like, that's ridiculous. What you just said was ridiculous. And I have a counterpoint to it. So I'm writing down my counterpoint. Okay. But that being set aside, when you talk about other people feeling like me saying that I have a disability because I have vision loss, or any of my multitude of other disabilities that I do have, by the way, like when you say that, you're actually negating my disability and my experience being a disabled person. I might not be legally disabled because in Alberta, I'm not able to collect AISH because I'm not disabled enough, even though my disability actually prevents me from being out in public a lot of the time and talking with people, which is what I used to do as my job all the time. So, like, I have a disability that prevents me from doing certain jobs. I can't do them. It's like you're negating my experience by saying that because I'm not disabled enough to be legally disabled, that I'm not disabled. But in fact, I actually am.
And this is going to lead me into the questions that I had.
Can I respond to her before you give me more? Or
sure,
no?
And then Cyber has to go because he's been waiting for a little while.
Yeah, no, I get that. I don't mean to cut you off, Cyber. I just, if there's too much, then it's hard to kind of...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this. I hear what you're saying about your face because I actually also do have ADHD, and I also am very expressive, and when I was in school, I had a lot of trouble with this, and it got me in trouble a lot with my face because when I don't disagree, I do the same thing. However, I've had to learn to control it because let me tell you, when I'm in a professional setting, okay, I work with other women. Like I said, I am a nurse. I disagree with people all the time. If I were to sit there and smirk at somebody condescendingly like that and gave them the clear indication that I think what they're saying is ridiculous, I would be immediately in trouble for that. Socially and with my boss, it would not be okay. And I recognize that this is your life, so you can do what you want, which is the reason why I initially just said to you that it was kind of distracting me because I can tell how you're feeling. And it is making me question what I'm saying, which is making me lose my train of thought, which is making me not really land my plane. And I can see that in what people are saying in the comments because I don't feel like they're understanding what I'm trying to say. And now the next thing I know, people are going to be like, oh, well, this girl is ableist. This girl is saying stuff about, which is really bothersome to me because what I actually said to you was that there are some people that might feel, some people that have severe disabilities that really affect their ability to go throughout life might feel that somebody saying that they need reading glasses minimizes their real barriers. I also said to you that I'm not saying I feel that way. I'm not sure. It's just a perspective. What do you guys think? You guys have taken that statement and turned that into me. Let me finish, and then I will.
Just one second, Geeky, let her finish. Let her land the plane.
You guys have taken that statement, and it's turned into me basically saying that you can't be disabled and all of this other stuff that is not exactly what I said. And now I've got all these people in the comments coming at me. I've got you guys coming at me. And I don't think it's wrong to question whether or not we should be calling and remember I said reading glasses, as the same thing in the same category as somebody that is living their life as blind. I could be wrong, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. And at the end of telling me why I'm wrong, I will say, okay, I can see it your way. You're probably right. But we got derailed when you started smirking at me and talking to me loudly and getting really offended because I said that you were distracting me and huffing at me. So you know what? I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry
but
if
this
I
is not on me.
sigh. Like, I'm not
I
gonna hold
see
back.
you're being like, see, okay, that's fine. But when I tell you that it's distracting me and I'm not able to get what I'm trying to say out,
But
that's all I'm
hold on.
saying, and I think
But
it's fair.
it distracted you. So Charity removed the distractions.
Everything.
What
No,
she
she did
perceived.
it
Well,
with a lot of
listen,
attitude that made a big scene.
Chris. It wasn't making a scene. You
Okay.
stated that it was distracting. You mentioned chat. So Charity was being charitable and just removed it because Charity's going to do what Charity does. Charity makes facial expressions when she's writing things down. We're human. That's what we do. Chat
Okay.
is going to do what chat does. That's chat. If you haven't been in my life, but people who've been in my lives, I say all the time, chat is just toxic sludge. Like, chat's going to chat, right? And so it's on you then. If it distracts you, it's on you then to either not read chat, because you can turn chat off yourself. Charity doesn't have to do it for you.
The chat wasn't bothering me. It was knowing that she would like the faces she was making, and that's fine. She could have said, "Hey, I have ADHD. I'm sorry, but sometimes I make
I
But
shouldn't
when-
have to justify that.
And when
All I
she
said
told
to
you, hold on,
I shouldn't have to specify that I have a disability in order to excuse anything.
And then when she explained why she did it, it should have ended there. You should have been like, oh, thank you for being charitable. Instead, you went on this whine fest about how you just felt like it was like an attack on you. But let's move on. Let's move on from this and get back on topic.
Yeah. I know Geeky wanted to respond to all of that too.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
just want to say
Geeky.
one quick thing because I think that this is important. This is the same argument that we see in so many different spaces. Like, I'm from the trans community. I'm trans non-binary. For me, whenever I hear people arguing about, let's say, transphobia, and they go, well, how would women feel if trans women were to compete in sports with them? And I'm not saying that you're doing anything akin to that. I'm just saying that these arguments are very similar. Well, someone might be offended, so we shouldn't do X. But the problem is, these things are actually disabilities. So we
Geeky,
can't sit there and be like,
sorry.
go for it, Carrie.
I think like an even better comparison when you're talking about it relating to like another marginalized group would even be GCs saying that like you're not trans enough, so you're not trans, you know, like when you're looking at it like that, like it's you're not disabled enough. I don't deem you disabled enough, so you can't have a disability.
We are talking about reading glasses.
Yes, and I also am nearsighted as well. I have to have another set of glasses later on when my eyes progress.
Charity. I was talking about thinking about how somebody that is blind would feel somebody that just needs reading glasses called themselves disabled.
Well, let's talk about that.
If you're not part of that community, then you're just white knighting for that.
That was not a comment, or that was not like an admission of how I feel. It was a question that I posed that you are clearly offended by, and I apologize, was not my intention.
Well, I've got some questions for you then, because it'll follow down these lines. You said you were a nurse, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. What can you tell me about cochlear implants?
I do not specialize.
I can tell you so much about cochlear implants. Sorry, I got so excited.
Yeah. So
I thought you were crying. I'm like, oh my God, I made you cry. Like, this is just like really bad.
Well, so cochlear implants, right? You get people that are deaf, and they end up, severing the connection from their ears because they have to connect the cochlear into those, right? And then they have a device in that's like a speaker, and it makes it so that they can gain somewhat hearing back, right? Now, the process of getting a cochlear implant makes you 100% deaf, right? You can no longer hear when you get them. So my question is, would you say that somebody who has a cochlear implant, because they are able to now hear. And different people, it's going to be to different levels and stuff. But some people can regain excellent hearing as a result of cochlear implants. Is it your stance then that because they now have these cochlear implants that they are no longer deaf?
It was you wanting me to answer that?
It's just a yes or no. If they have cochlear implants and they can now hear, are they still considered deaf? Or because it's been corrected, but it's been
Scale down a bit,
corrected.
hearing aids.
No, of course they are.
So it's not about, okay, so let's say somebody is an amputee, right? Let's say somebody's an amputee and they now have a prosthetic. And this prosthetic, because we do have amazing technology now, and whether it's the arm, the leg, their prosthetic allows them to have the function that they have lost. Are they still considered an amputee?
Yep, of course they are.
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking you these questions are because you mentioned that once somebody has something done and it corrects the disability, whether it's through, and you were using glasses as your example, and the lens corrects the vision, right? Well, they shouldn't be considered disabled because correction has been made.
Okay,
right?
you know what? No, this is where I draw the line. This nurse should find a new career. You guys are attacking my career.
Don't read the
comments.
Don't read the comments.
Like I'm not built for this. This is bullshit.
Chris,
That's
don't
obvious.
read the
I
comments.
grant that.
I
grant you're not ready for this.
There are trolls all over in the comments. I've had somebody coming in all night who's mocking the size of my forehead on multiple accounts. This is TikTok. Like, you just don't read the comments. I've grown. I used to have a hard time because I used to host a trivia live in a different account, and I'd constantly be reading the comments because I had to for the game. When I started hosting these lives, it took me a while to start like ignoring the comments and just paying attention to the conversation I'm having with the person in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I please just say something here?
Well, I just need well, first of all, what you can do if you don't want to read the chat, if you don't want to read it, you hold your screen.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm just going to say this really quickly. Guys, stop going after people. Everybody, don't go after anybody on the channel. Don't go after Chris. No comments like that. Just leave it. We're having the conversation up here. No personal attacks.
And chat, I'm sorry I called you toxic sludge.
I really feel like this went way not where I intended. I intended to point out your face, not to.
Okay, let's not talk about that. Let's not dwell on that.
Please. No, this is important. I was trying to justify why I was getting why no, this is important. Stop doing that to me and let me talk.
Just let her say her.
I was trying to explain why I was getting kerfuffled and not able to explain myself properly because I felt like I was letting her down. I felt like I could tell that she thought I was wrong, that maybe I was wrong. It was getting in my head. It was making me lose my train of thought. I was not coming at her like her face is a problem or she's this bad person. It was more like I knew that maybe I was incorrect and it was distracting me. That's what I was trying to say to you guys. You guys are coming at me a mile an hour here for saying that I was distracted because I could clearly see she thinks that I'm wrong. I just posed a question. All you guys needed to say was, no, I actually don't think that's a good point of view. I don't think that people with disabilities would feel this way. Here's why. And I was fully prepared to be like, okay, that makes sense. I was not sitting here trying to argue to the death that I thought that, and now I've got people questioning whether or not I should be a nurse. I've got people questioning whether or not I should even exist on this earth. Like, what the fuck, people? Like, now I'm going to go into other rooms and be like, oh, this is the disabled bitch that tried to argue. Like, are you guys kidding me? I just asked a fucking question.
Premise one. Oh,
Before
go
we
ahead.
continue, hang on, Cyber.
Yep, go ahead.
I want to bring other Chris, OG Chris,
Yeah.
the Chris, into the
Just
conversation.
really quickly, just to address that, like, I don't know, like, I guess I have a hard time wondering, like, why my opinion on whether you were right or wrong was like was affecting you that much, though,
Seems
because
like you
like
know a lot more about how somebody might feel with a disability. So me asking a question about disability and what should really be defined as disability might not be like it. I think you weigh in more on this, so maybe perhaps you should know, and what I'm saying is
sure,
completely wrong. So it did matter to me.
sure.
It was distracting to me.
Okay, so here's the thing though, like when you were going at that question though, and like with your stance on it and stuff though, like you came at it reading from the legal point and
Yes.
talking about the ADA and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And that was more of like a statement of like, this is what a disability is. So this wouldn't really be considered a disability because of these different reasons. Like that was your stance. That was your
No,
argument on it,
no,
right?
no,
So,
but yeah, but what I said
but,
was, look, this is the definition, but what do you guys think?
but like you're telling me like, criticizing my facial expressions though is basically telling me that I'm not allowed to express myself when somebody, like, if we were having a face-to-face conversation, I'd still be having the same expressions and I'd be able to see your expressions too,
And I
right?
would
So like,
stop though. If you did that to me when we were talking face to face, I would stop and say, "What? Okay, you're not agreeing with me. Tell me what you think." I would stop and ask you why you're making that face. Now, it
So
probably wouldn't be an argument, but I would
time out
definitely
for
respond to it.
She did.
time out for just a second. Yeah, so the one they did. But two, I think the more important thing to really look at is that it wasn't that, you asked a question and then we went and we had, a disagreement about it and then X, Y, and Z. You said, and I'm quoting you directly here, well, how would a person who was blind feel about someone saying that them using glasses means they have a disability?
I pose
Like,
that as a question though. How do you think that might
but
make them feel?
why
Because
should
that was
it
the question
matter?
posed
You know
in
what?
what I was
Let's go
reading.
ahead and ask someone who uses accessibility devices.
Right.
Someone who I love watching the shit out of because of how passionate they are about this. Just a reminder, everybody, Chris uses they, them pronouns. Chris, how do you feel about someone with tinnitus saying that it's a hearing disorder as someone who is deaf?
No, it
I
was
have it.
disability, not disorder. You were
I'm
talking
sorry.
about what's a disability.
I understand that. Is the question, do I have a problem with people who have tinnitus?
No.
So one of the things is, let's say,
Hold on.
or even let's say that someone, because I know you use hearing aids, let's say someone who is hard of hearing is using hearing aids. Would you say that you being profoundly deaf and them saying that they have a disability with that use of that hearing aid, would you say that that is them taking away from you being profoundly deaf by saying that they use hearing aids as a hard of hearing person?
Absolutely not, because that would be
Wait a minute. That's not what
that's
the
wait,
argument was.
just
no,
a moment. Let me,
Gigi's trying to find something analogous that would go with what Chris experiences. That's why, like they're trying to find something analogous to go with Chris's experience on it. I'll just say this, Chris, like sensory issues. Okay, okay, compared to hearing loss or deafness.
so it's the difference. Like the difference between, say, accuracy and precision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the difference between, say, the car is at the house. Does that mean it could be in the yard, or does that mean it is specifically in the dining room? So, like, these things are nuanced. It depends on what folks need to be supported. And the folks who don't need support in order to exist in society don't get to be the ones who put the labels on the rest of us.
I can agree with that. I don't know how much of the conversation that you've heard or not, but I just posed the question of how might somebody that is deaf feel about somebody that needs to wear reading glasses calling themselves disabled and
Blind.
putting themselves in that same category. Now,
Somebody
I
who's
realize-
blind, not somebody who's deaf. You
Well,
you said
and-
deaf, but you meant blind.
Oh, sorry, I meant blind. Sorry.
And real
And-
quick, we do need to make an acknowledgement just here, real quick. Initially, it was just glasses in general, and then later on, you shifted the goalpost to just be reading
No, I
glasses.
shifted my example and not the goalpost.
That's a goalpost
I
shift.
shifted my
That's
example.
what that's what
Okay.
it means. Shift
I
the
know
goalpost.
shifting the goalpost means I just used a different example.
I requested up because when I popped in, the conversation was around whether something like cochlear implants fixed hearing.
Yeah, that was not me talking about that.
No, but that's if you are hearing, that is a whole can of worms you don't want to go down.
Yeah, I didn't go down that.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying
Okay.
you in the sense of anybody who is not deaf or hard of hearing, because it's really fucking nuanced.
Agreed. Really what that was, so Chris, just to fill you in on this, what it was Chris here was saying that there is a point to which if something can remedy the disability or remedy the issue, then there,
No.
I guess you can correct me when I'm done. Promise. But to that point, then it wouldn't be like I guess the totality of it wouldn't be a disability, or you wouldn't be considered disabled. So
if
like,
somebody-
let's say glasses would correct vision, or hearing aids would correct, or quote unquote correct hearing. The thing is, once you take those hearing aids off, once you take those glasses off, that's no longer corrected.
It's an accommodation. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I wear glasses. My vision is shit and getting worse all the time.
So good on you.
Thank you. My vision is shit. That doesn't fix the fact that if I set my glasses down, I have to be super mindful of where I put them, because I might not be able to fucking see where they are. It doesn't fix it. It is an accommodation.
Yeah.
It is how these are the tools that we have to use in order to exist in a society that is not built for us. It's the same way with being deaf.
Yes.
It's the same for people with hard of hearing.
I was reading a definition. That was not my opinion. I was reading.
No,
a
I'm
definition.
please no, I'm not making an attack. I'm
I
just
know.
making a distinction.
Oh, I know you're not. I was to Geeky. You said that my opinion was what I was saying. I was reading a definition, not my opinion. I was reading the definition of what the American government considers a disability. Whether I agree with that or not is a completely different.
Well, let me give you.
Fair.
One sec.
To be quite fair, the American government doesn't believe that Chris and I exist,
yeah.
so what?
Yeah.
I really want Cyber to go because I don't think Cyber ever really got the chance to ask his questions.
Yeah. So first of all, yeah. So the reason why I brought those points up was, one, to just illustrate that even though when we're talking about, with the deafness and the cochlear implants, again, like Chris, like they said, this is nuance, but you would still consider a person to be deaf. You'd still consider them to be an amputee. Why wouldn't you then just extend this to people that need glasses? And so I'll end right there with that point because I do got to hop off. But the next thing I want to say is,
makes sense.
when you come up on panel, don't just read a definition and state it on the panel unless it's not what you believe. Because as soon as you...
I did tell you the definition.
Well, no.
But-
What I'm saying,
No,
though,
just
is...
let finish Cyber because he's
Oh,
making
I
a really
see.
good point.
I
Yeah.
see what you mean.
Yeah, what I'm saying is if you have so what you'll get in, like, especially like in philosophy, is a word can mean whatever. Blah 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 could mean the color red, right? A word can mean whatever I want it to mean, and we just have to use it in that context. So if you're going to use a term and you're going to define it, make sure it actually fits within like your actual beliefs. Because if you just read a definition, the panel's going to assume that that's what your stance is, that that's what your belief is. And if it's not, well, you're just going to be straw manned the entire time, because we're going to hear your definition and we're just going to assume that that's your belief. And so only define things according with how you actually hold to it.
I feel like I was kind of trying to come at it like a devil's advocate, kind of, like, what about if we consider this point of view? Like it was originally in my mind a question. Like, when we talk about it, it's like, I don't know, but like, is it possible that maybe people with a disability would feel this way? Like, what do you guys think? Like, is that a possibility? And then when you gave me a reason not to, I went, well, I mean, they do describe it as a disability technically as this. So do you think, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was really coming at it from a questioning it rather than an arguing that stance point of view, which apparently didn't come off to anybody. But I also don't think it helped that I commented on your face, because from that point on, everybody, especially the chat, just got really defensive and angry with me. And then nobody was really listening to what I was trying to say at that point.
Mm-hmm.
This is not intentional.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah. Oh man, you said something and I went in my head, and I was making the face and I went off, so I wasn't gonna like totally make the face.
Are you talking like before is what you mean, or right now?
Just now. When you were talking. It was the devil doesn't need more advocates. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
the devil has enough advocates. He doesn't need any more.
I'm wired to question things, right? And also, you have to remember, I'm also wired to look at it from a medical standpoint. So if somebody came into one of the wards that I worked on, and we were assessing, would we mark off that person is disabled because they need reading glasses? No. But does that mean that they don't consider themselves, or that they aren't? No, it doesn't. But like from, I guess from that kind of framework is how I would on a daily look at things, right?
So I'm gonna give you like a comparison. Okay, so like when we look at like
reading glasses, let me just stipulate that reading glasses.
Hey, real quick.
Okay, but I'm just going to say reading glasses are still a tool. I can't read my phone without my reading glasses.
Yeah, I know, but
like I still require them in order to do things.
But like, if I was in the hospital, I wouldn't mark somebody as having a disability for needing reading glasses when I say. However, we might mark somebody as having a disability if they, let me just finish my sentence and then I will. We might mark somebody.
You can go after me. I was just telling I was telling the other Chris that they can go after me.
Yeah, real quick, I do gotta drop down real fast. Cyber. I just want to let you all know you lost the game.
Love you, Cyber.
Shush. I hate you. I hate you. Okay. This Chris finish? Hang on.
I think
this
that
Chris
you
finish?
Get the point. My point is what I believe personally is different than how we might document something on, in a medical ward is all my point is. If they have a reading glasses, wouldn't mark it a disability is all I'm saying. But that doesn't mean that it's not. And I never was saying that.
It's the way you approached it came across that way. That's why we were having the reactions that we were. That's why my face was making the expressions it was, because I was like, but that's not what's actually like.
And I was getting that while I was talking. That was my point, which was making me really insecure about what I was saying, because I was like, oh shit, like, am I saying something incorrect? Do I need to correct myself? which was my point, because then it distracted me from the point that I was trying to get at, and I felt like then
But that's
people were
also
not
me
understanding me.
not trying to interrupt, or like that's me trying not to interrupt as well, because I've got these thoughts going through my head, and again, I've filled up an entire post-it with this because I'm like,
I'm really
but what about
sensitive
this?
to
But what
other
about this?
people's feelings and emotions, right? I'm super
Sorry?
sensitive to it. Maybe that's my own fault.
Sure. I mean, I can understand that. I'm an empath, so I totally understand that. I'm an empath with ADHD and autism. Yay! It's fun here. But okay, so
What is going on?
where was I going?
with
Oh, this is where I was going with
So,
this.
What's going
Okay,
on with
I remember
Chris, though? Because wasn't they
they
weren't
yeah,
they just
but
talking, and now you're signing? I don't understand what's
what?
happening.
Who's signing?
Who's signing?
Oh my god! It looked like you were signing.
I don't know what you're saying.
No,
they're signing to each other. Ignore them.
You're talking.
Ignore them. They're signing to each other. Okay.
Totally
So
confusing
what I
me
was
at this
going to
point.
say, okay, because I wanted to compare this to another marginalized community. Okay, so when you look at disabilities and you look at people who are like typical, okay, so you have like the people with disabilities and the people without disabilities. Okay, if you compare it to another marginalized community, you're looking at like everybody in the LGBTQ community versus all the cishet normative people. Like there's two sides of every coin. There's two sides of every coin, right? So it's everybody who's not part of this is included in this group, right? Because they're not part of the cishet normative. I mean, there's still some people who are cis that are in that group, but you know, they're not cishet. So and although some of us are in there too, because I'm Demi. But anyway. But it's everybody who's excluded from that other group that's included in that other group, right? So it's when you're looking at disabled and non-disabled, you're looking at those people who are excluded and require all those extra things are going to be in that disabled group. Whether they recognize it or not, they would still be at a disadvantage and have a disability compared to somebody who doesn't require those things. And that's the only point I'm trying to make on this, is that literally it's just that you require extra, whether it's time, devices,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's debatable, of course.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about when I say somebody has a disability. So even if you have reading glasses, you still require a tool in order to do the same thing.
I do understand that, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's technically, but would somebody with my question was, would somebody with reading glasses say to a group of, like, a room full of people, I have a disability? And if they did that, and again, this is a question that I was posing. I got your answer already, but this was just the question that I was posing. I think it's a fair question, but I mean, I lean towards your answer being the correct one. If they were to say that in a group full of people, I have a disability, I need reading glasses.
Real quick, you added reading glasses after the first point that you had made
reading
was
glasses
in general. Mostly because, and I'm just going to say this, with my glasses right here, does nothing for my astigmatism.
Yeah,
and wish that it did, but astigmatism was one of the big things that we were talking about.
Yeah, I was talking, I said nearsighted, farsighted, or astigmatism. And then when there was pushback, I said, okay, reading glasses. But either way, glasses for those things, okay, those common things. Because there's lots of things that you need glasses for that are not common things. And that's not really what my question was. I get
what your question is.
To be
like,
common. So
you have said it a couple times. So I do understand what your question is.
That in a group full of people, would there be a section of people that be like, oh, like, you know, that fuels that kind of attitude that I've seen a lot of maybe right wing have with, the rolling of the eyes and, oh, everything is, a disability and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That annoying viewpoint that those type of people have, right?
Right.
And then they would use that as an example of, okay, well, now we've got people that need reading glasses saying that they're disabled. And
Right.
how would that affect somebody that was blind, right?
Right.
I could
Okay.
be wrong. This
Okay.
is just a question I'm asking.
Hang on. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna very quickly respond, and then Chris can go. Other Chris can go. Okay, because they've been waiting for a little bit.
I didn't. I keep seeing your hand up, but then I thought you were talking.
There, Chris.
Them
both.
Sorry,
they use
them.
both of them.
I thought,
use they them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. I thought
You're
that
good.
you were talking to them. I didn't realize you wanted to talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Effort, not perfection.
In the comments, or just have my hand up, but like that's what I
know.
had my
Yeah.
Okay.
They just do that because I ask that people put their hands up, and my friendlies all know that. Like, people who have been on my panels, they know to put their hand up if they want to talk, just so we don't have all the over talking, because it happens a lot. And it's, for me, as a person with ADHD, I get very overstimulated with the over talking. So
You can turn the comments back on now if you like.
okay, you're still gonna see a couple of the old comments, just so you know. So just
I'm not that fragile.
them.
It was just
So-
really overwhelming.
Oh, look, some comments were filtered. Look, people were being dicks.
Probably
Okay.
1,000 people calling me names.
Okay, so I'm in the comments. Really quickly, and then Chris can go. If I can remember what I was going to say now. I don't think that somebody who was in a room with people who were blind, who, if they wore reading glasses, I don't think they would declare that. I don't think most people who wear reading glasses declare that they have a disability.
Then that's my
I don't
point
even
then, right?
What?
Then that was my point.
Right. So just give me 1 second. Let me finish my thought.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So welcome back, guys. So I don't think that most of those people recognize that they even have a disability because they need reading glasses. And that's the reason why they wouldn't say it. But also at the same time, somebody needing reading glasses still, just because their experience is different than somebody else, let's use the autism spectrum as an example, okay? Somebody who's level 1 autistic is not going to be the same as level 3 autistic, right? So they're different. They're still on the autism spectrum. They have different needs and requirements. They also have different experiences with it, but they're both still disabled. Okay? They both still have autism. So when you look at that, I still have vision loss, even if I'm wearing reading glasses, right? And as well as somebody who is blind still has vision loss. It's different degrees. And I think that the level thing is not ableist. That's what it's called now. It's level 1, 2, and 3 autism, just so we all know. So when we look at it and we see these degrees and we say, well, this is the degree that makes you disabled, you're totally negating the other people's experiences and saying they're not experiencing the thing that they are experiencing. So that's my comment on that. Chris, go ahead.
That was me. You pointed at me, right?
You, yes.
Okay.
Top Chris.
I looked
Chris,
away
go
for
ahead.
just a moment. The news has been a bit, not great.
Yes, we'll get an update in a second.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I mean, there's a lot of nuance in what's going on. So as it relates to autism, as another autistic, ADHD person here as well, there is the conversation about, do we allow the oppressor police the way that the oppressed exist? because all of this is about, out group and in group and out group, and who makes the determination on what is acceptable. I think that personally, I don't use the outside of like medical settings. I try to steer clear from those sorts of labels just because they're very limiting, and they're based on how we impact others. But that's the paradigm in which we exist today. So we don't really have a better way to utilize it now. That's a whole thing aside. Whether or not somebody with astigmatism, nearsightedness, farsightedness, or strabismus, also an eye issue, any of them, how they are accommodated within the society that clearly was not meant for us. I'm not going to police how somebody else defines whether or not they're disabled, because honestly, I can't speak to how it impacts how they exist in the world.
Absolutely said that, though. I know that you're just speaking in general and not
no. I mean the specific to the example.
Yeah, I just want to be very clear. I said that right off the hop, and more than once, that I personally would never define somebody as being disabled or not. People can define themselves as they see fit.
So why are we doing a whataboutism?
You know what? I don't even know how this started completely. I think that something was said, and then it was like, well, what if somebody had glasses? Would that be a
Nope.
if somebody had glasses for astigmatism or nearsighted or farsighted?
No, I can tell you why. It's because I said I talked about people being right before this conversation started is when I said that anyone is close to they're able to join this community at any time, and all it would take would be age, ailment, or accident.
Right, and that's when I said, so if somebody had glasses like for an astigmatism or for nearsighted or farsightedness, would you consider them to be disabled? And she said yes, and I said, I mean, the problem with calling somebody disabled for needing glasses would be that I think then I went to the definition of what was considered what was considered a disability. And then I posed the question, would it be, how would somebody that had a chronic illness or a serious disability feel about somebody saying that they are disabled for needing reading glasses? That's how the hypothetical started, but it was never a statement like, this is what I believe. It was
right. So, but Chris, can you see how with everything that the way it progressed, because it would appear to be that's your argument. Do you know what I mean? And that's your side, the way you were looking at it.
Yeah, and there was an element, I'm not going to lie, there was an element to me kind of not completely agreeing with you suggesting that needing regular glasses was a disability. But the question that was posed itself about reading glasses was a hypothetical, and it did come from the definition that I read. So I did also agree with you many times after we got talking. It's not a solid it's not a solid belief. It's it's a conversation. I'm willing to hear what other people have to say. I'm not set in stone. I do come at it from a clinical point of view, though, so I think that's where we differ, maybe.
No, and I can understand that. But even when I read the descriptive definition from the dictionary, and it's like I said, it's the first one, which is the primary definition, right? It's a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movement, senses, or activities. And having vision loss would limit my sight, which is a sense. So
may I ask a question to Chris?
Yeah.
So this is a good faith question. This is a good faith question. Are you like just chilling and talking to Geeky down below, or are you smirking and carrying on to make a point to me? Like I maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but when I saw like you kind of smirking when I was talking, I thought, are you trying to see if I will call you out or if it's bothering me or maybe making a point? No. Okay, so I'm thinking too
Chris
deep
is not
into
like
it.
that
I
at
just
all.
like you. No, I don't mean it in like a malicious way. I just want you to know that like it wasn't just you originally when I called you out for smirking when I was talking. I wasn't just trying to point. I like literally am sensitive to anybody kind of reacting when I'm talking and immediately feel like, are you reacting to me? So I just wanted to point that out because maybe it would help you to understand me rather than you thinking that I was kind of targeting you
Sure,
or
but that might be something that like you might need to work on, right?
well, I mean, I've
Like,
never had any problem in any other room with, that reaction when people were disagreeing with me, but I mean, I don't know, maybe I need more rooms. Usually
I
people
don't
are
know.
pretty.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the part that you're policing people's facial expressions. I don't know if you've noticed, but
That
like I
policing
popped in the
question
room. Excuse me?
is questioning if you are doing that to get my attention or not. Is that policing though? Because I'm not
Yeah,
telling
it
you to
is.
not to
Can
do
you
it.
mute for a hot minute? I just so I can respond fully.
Yeah, also, okay, so this Chris, middle Chris, um top Chris uses closed captioning to also read along the conversation. So when you are interjecting or speaking over top or while the other person's speaking, it's very difficult for them to to track the conversation.
I will
So
use my
just so you know.
notebook. I will write things
Okay.
down instead of interjecting. I apologize.
Thank you. So first of all, I don't know if you've noticed, but since the comments came back on, I had already had I popped up on the panel, and my friend Broken is down in the chat. Then I saw that my friend AJ is in the chat. I saw like all these people that I know, and I'm like commenting back, and I'm like my facial expressions don't necessarily have anything to do with you. And if that is a problem for you, you as a person who has hearing, you can look away from the screen and you can still track the conversation. And I would encourage you to do so. I think one of the reasons why this live might be a bit more impactful to you than say other lives is because Charities is one of the few, if not only fucking lives that I have ever been in that discusses ableism and the impact of disabilities in a capitalistic, paternalistic, white supremacy, white supremacist society. So the fact of it is that why you might not see that elsewhere is because a lot of people aren't addressing this issue as it falls in to part of white supremacy. Food for thought.
May I respond?
And capitalism.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and then when I'm done, you can answer if you want to. You don't have to, obviously. So the first question is, can you maybe understand why I would ask that question, considering the entire conversation at one point was centered around Charity smirking and while I was talking, and then when I was talking again about the exact same thing, then I see you smirking. So could you maybe understand why I might draw that, like question that? Number two, I did not say it was a problem. I specifically said that it was a good faith question and that I wasn't bothered by it. I just wanted to understand. I said that that I just wanted to maybe I was looking too deeply into it. But I just wanted to know if you were trying to express something to me, or if I was just going too deep into it. Just simply telling me, no, not at all. I mean, it's not like I was going to sit there and argue with you. I was not policing how you look at all. I was asking you if you were trying to communicate something, because we did just have a conversation about smirking while I was talking, and then you did the same thing, which is totally cool, because you also said you were talking to them geeky. So maybe that was it too. It's just I just wanted to draw. I just wanted to make sure to note that I was noticing everybody's body language and not just Charity's. Right? I like I yeah, I really react like when people are making, like when they're really making it clear that they don't agree with me. Like it just feels very defensive, and I'm trying so hard to be open, like with this conversation. I okay. Okay. Wow.
Give Chris a second to respond, because that was 2 longer questions.
Yeah, I think I'm too long-winded is the problem.
I'm not going to tell you what you are too much of, but what I'm going to say, because Geeky's had a hand up for fucking ever.
Long time. Yeah. We're going to go to Geeky afterwards.
There's some sort of background noise. I'm not sure what it is.
Somebody have a radio on or TV or something?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Like,
it was geeky.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
Holy fuck, I'm unmuted. I'm so sorry.
You're good. So I make a lot of facial expressions related to the conversation, related to the chat, who, by the way, referring to grown-ups as children is fucked up, and especially when you're misgendering, not fucking cool. So there's a lot of nuance to what's no. If
they were talking to the chat.
If it was you, I would call you by name. There are a lot of components, and this one of the reasons that I have been around on TikTok for a number of years, but I don't host lives, is because I read captions, I read comments, I'm on the panel usually discussing the thing. There's a lot of variables involved, okay? And just doing that is a lot of pulling a bunch of different strings, and so it's complicated and nuanced. My point in bringing that up is, if these sorts of things bother you, you might want to consider whether or not you want to, like, these sorts of conversations in particular, whether you want to be on panels, just because, you know, if somebody makes an expression and that bothers you, I mean, that's on you. I'm not going to tell you how to respond to somebody else making an expression, but also, like, I'm in control of how I respond, and that's it. I don't go around policing what everybody else does, because fuck, living in this world is hard enough. Anyway, I'm gonna pause because that's. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna add to it. Chris wasn't here for the whole conversation of my facial expressions, just so you know. So there's no way that they would have even known about that. They weren't here for that at all.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
So.
and for the chat, I mean, honestly, I think that it is a little bit of both. I think maybe more on my end, but I think that there is both an element. I'm not going to sit here and take all responsibility. I absolutely am very sensitive, but on the other hand, like, there were faces made to make it very clear that they didn't agree, and there were faces being pulled like that. I'm not imagining that, and Charity even admitted that when she doesn't agree, that she does pull her face and she does make it, you know, clear in her body language. So, like, I wasn't like just imagining that, but I mean, I did react to that in a way where it was it was a little bit like kerfuffling to me. It did make me.
I fear you're gonna have to deal with that kerfuffle, babe. I really do.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm
here's
sure
the
I
thing.
am.
I'm gonna say this in all due respect, and I really want this to come off respectful. Is this how you react to people giving you facial expressions and attitude while you're at work as a nurse?
People don't behave like that at work as a nurse.
Oh,
No,
I'm gonna go ahead and call
Not
a
where-
Like the
whole
patients?
Not where-
litany of bullshit.
I mean,
A litany of bullshit.
Are you
a fucking dairy farm worth
Did
of
you
bullshit.
want me
My
to
sisters
answer
both
that?
work in the
Okay,
medical
let me know
field.
when
They
you're done.
judge them all the fucking time. Hi, I used to
Are
work
you
as a
forgetting
mechanic,
there are
regardless of
many
the fact-
different
Hi.
places in which a
No,
nurse can work?
Chris.
Okay.
I understand. Really, I do. I do, babe. I get it.
You did
I
ask
get
me
it.
a question.
But a
though.
woman in this world, in any way, shape, or form, is gonna get fucking attitude for the shit that they do, no matter which profession it's in. Regardless, they're gonna talk down to you. Their facial expressions are gonna do the thing. Now, if that's the case, then, I mean, I would implore you to use some of that bedside manner here. Because we're gonna have facial expressions, especially the hosts of the live. Tone policing also includes facial expressions, especially for people who use ASL, because that's where you get your tone from. That's all. When I'm asking a question, I say, how are you? Or that's like a bitch, how are you? Like, come on. There's facial expression here. There really is. And a lot of times, like, ooh, buddy, my face so loud. My face so loud. My face speaks in bold and italics. My shit speaks in so many different languages. It's actually kind of fucking embarrassing, and I really can't help it most of the time, especially because of my ADHD and the fact that most of the time my autism doesn't allow me to be subtle. Subtlety is not in my job description here. So, when we're talking about things like these facial expressions, Chris said it best. ACAB includes tone police, babe, and the face is tone. So is the sound of my voice right now, and I'm sounding a little condescending because honestly, I feel like I'm on one of the fucking tilt-a-whirls. I feel like I'm in that like space machine ride where you're like sucked up against the wall and you're like, ugh. Yeah, I feel like I'm
The Gravitron?
The Gravitron, that's what it's called. I feel like I'm in a Gravitron.
Oh my god.
Can you respond to
Like, you spin me right round, baby, right round. Like, it's all right here. We've heard the same song and dance, and while Chris can't control the tone of their face because, again, you know, sign language, you use your face for tone. The same thing happens with Charity with the ADHD. Same thing's gonna happen with me with my ADHD, on top of the fact that I'm Middle Eastern. I'm literally watching my fucking homeland be destroyed right now. Like, all of this shit is adding on top of everything going on. It is 3:20 in the morning. I have not slept more than 3 hours in the past 5 nights, and I'm losing my mind slowly. So to hear this go over and over and over again, and then to hear on top of all of that, that really was just you playing devil's advocate. I'm sorry, I'm so fucking agitated that I can't help it. I'm trying so hard. Chris knows I've been trying really hard.
I think
to be
you're
nice.
right. I think that this
But, like,
conversation
fuck!
does need to be over, and I'm
Was
gonna say one thing
Geeky done?
about the
Wait.
nursing.
Wait. Was Geeky done?
It sounded like
I landed
No,
my
they were
plane.
still talking.
Okay, well,
I landed my
I'm like,
plane. If I didn't, God knows that the people who are in the powers that be would think that I was about to crash it into a building, and I'm not willing to be on any more lists than I'm already on. So right now I'm just gonna land, and I'm gonna continue watching my news channel, which apparently Chris, through their hearing aids, can still fucking hear. Like, what's happening?
I could hear it too. I could hear it.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean,
can I just respond, and then I'm gonna stop, because you're right, there are other things that are going on that are much more important. You asked me a question that you didn't let me answer. You asked me if I how I deal with this at work, and I said that I don't deal with this between my coworkers and I. However, I am going to tell you, as a nurse, I have a different hat on when I am at my job versus when I am on a live in my own personal time. So how I deal with conflict, or how I deal with somebody disagreeing with me, or even making faces when I'm talking, is going to be a whole lot different than how I deal with it here in my personal time. How I dealt with it here in my personal time was I chose to address it to let you know it was distracting me from my point, and I felt like people were not understanding me in the comments. That was the point of addressing it, to justify why I am not able to make the point that I feel like I'm trying to make. Now, you're right. I cannot control people's faces. I'm not going to try to control people's faces on panels. I've learned a valuable lesson from this live. From the point of which I felt like I was being come at, or that maybe Charity was getting defensive with me, I should have left the conversation at that point. I should not have sat here with no backup on my own, getting more and more kerfuffled and frustrated with people that I don't know, that all are friends with each other, coming at me a mile a minute. I was not prepared to deal with that, and next time I am going to back out nicely and not put myself in that position. If I have a problem with somebody pulling their face when I'm speaking, then you're right, that's my problem. And I guess I will have to deal with it. And maybe sometimes I'm going to address it and say, hey, like, if you don't agree with me, just tell me why you pulling your face. Or maybe sometimes I will just leave the conversation. Okay, I'm an adult. I know that it is my fucking job to deal with my own feelings. Thank you. Today I chose to say something, and I wasn't rude. And if you guys don't like it, then I am very sorry about that. Thank you for giving me your opinions on the disability argument. I hear you. I appreciate your perspective. I'm going to go and do some more education and actually think about my feelings towards that subject, because I wasn't prepared to debate that today. I hadn't really thought about what I feel is a disability or not, because I don't care to describe somebody else's life. If they feel like it's a disability, then it is a disability, and I said that from the fucking very beginning. And for all of you assholes, kitty in the comments, you can shove it up your ass, okay? If you want to question my nursing ability, if you want to question me as a human, that is perfectly fine. You go right ahead. I am not perfect, but if you want to play back the tapes on this, that is fine. I think I've been pretty respectful to a lot of people coming at me pretty fucking hard. So I'm sorry.
Chris, no one's been coming at you. You just been a whiny fucking
All
asshole.
right. Well, have a
this
nice
whole
day
time.
then.
You've been a whine. I mean, I'm not surprised. She's a nurse.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you're still in here, Chris, or not, but like, even people in the comments were saying that the medical community is extremely ableist. They don't recognize people's disability. So just because like you don't recognize it within the medical community doesn't mean that that person is not disabled. And by bringing that up in the first place, you actually were questioning somebody's disability and telling them that they weren't disabled by bringing up that whole conversation. So not all nurses, Alex, not all nurses, but like, the medical community, it is ableist, just like the medical community is misogynist, just like it's racist. Like it's the system. It's not necessarily the individual people within it. It is the system.
Wait.
And that's what we have to realize. Like that, I'm sorry. Like, okay. That whole thing was really frustrating for me, because literally I went from my facial expressions being questioned, okay? And basically, I don't know if you noticed, by the way, but I really limited them, and I was very conscious of them the whole rest of the time, because I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. I went and did things to make her feel more comfortable, to remove those distractions. And then it became, and everybody's attacking, because if you have an opposing view, we're not attacking you. We're attacking your view. Like, oh my God.
Can I make a super quick comment before Doodley goes?
Sure. And then Geeky has an update for the 78 people in here. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world after that.
You can't make anybody feel any sort of way. They are solely responsible for their emotional responses. You can't make somebody feel shit, and if they feel some sort of way, that's solely on them. That's sorry. You don't own their response. Is what I did. Anyway, go ahead, Dudley.
So I'm not coming at anyone. Like, I'm not saying that nurses can't like go against the current system, like within their own personal lives. But like, when I say all nurses, I mean it like when someone says it's all men or it's all cops. Like, that's what I mean.
Mhm.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that they are bad individuals. I'm saying under our systems that we live under, it is all nurses until it's none. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That conversation went on for like an hour and a half, just so we all
Bro,
know.
was it an hour and a half?
It was like an hour and a half.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What the fuck are
Because
we doing?
I'm at 9 hours right now. So maybe like we'll say an hour and a quarter, but like minimum an hour. Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit, Grandpa.
One last thing before we move on to chaos. Did anybody else get the virtue signaling feeling? Fantastic. Thank you. Not just me. Okay, cool. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, total virtue signaling. Okay. But that's why I asked the question if they were part of the disability community, because if you're not part of it and you're telling us in the community not to say certain things, like, and how other people in the community would feel, that's virtue signaling. Okay.